Today on the Topping Show, Kamala Harris's CNN interview crashes and burns. We review the top parts of it. Brazil wants to censor X.com, and Elon pushes back. Colorado apartment complexes are being taken over by Venezuelan illegals who are demanding to be paid rent, thereby cutting off the landlords. A teacher is horrified that his school has teaching sex ed classes with only two sexes. CrowdStrike Q2 results are in. Dollar General stock crashes 30+% as sales come to a halt. And Lululemon slashes their guidance after a failed product launch. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have CrowdStrike Q2 results are in, and they are doing pretty darn good despite that outage, which, while we did not have the Y2K outage we all thought we were going to have growing up, well, CrowdStrike kind of created their own when they caused, what was it, about 50 to 60 billion dollars of lost revenue for Fortune 400 companies who are utilizing the product. Yeah, it was one of the biggest outages ever. But even despite that, their sales went up and their stock price has been recovering pretty darn good. It crashed around $220 per share. It was around like $350 per share back earlier this year, and it's starting to make a slight recovery. Going down to good old LinkedIn, they say, quote, CrowdStrike has cut its full-year outlook following last month's global outage caused by a flawed update to the cybersecurity software maker. The update crashed millions of computers using Windows on July 19th, precipitating the cancellation of delays of thousands of flights and other disruptions. They also face lawsuits from shareholders, travelers, and Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines expected they had their full revenue of 3.89 compared to 3.9 billion. Wow. They say, quote, the reduction of reflects the subscriptions impact of 30 million each quarter. Company forked about they forked out about 60 million in customer incentives, which is pretty crazy. Now that being said, revenue rose 32% from a year earlier. Wow, so this fiscal quarter they got $963.3 million in sales, which is phenomenal. Also, good time to be a CrowdStrike partner, such as Topping Technologies. If you need CrowdStrike, let us know in the comments below, or probably be smart for security reasons, just reach us at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. That'd be a more prudent thing to do. Now, it's even more impressive because they forecasted the sales of a mere, they say a mere, but again, it's still phenomenally great. They are forecasting sales of 959 million, but again, they came in at 963.9 million in revenue. Again, that's revenue, not profit. Now going to the funnel infographic by, again, this is George Kurtz, he's the founder over there. This is a quote. Wow, that's pretty impressive. It's like a CrowdStrike Q2 at a glance. Strong results demonstrate platform consolidation continues. Which again, that's, if you're not in IT, got to the point where a lot of these cybersecurity companies do darn near everything. It's not, they don't just do one thing like the endpoint. Now they're taking it to the cloud. Now they have a SIM solution, or basically a solution to manage all the logs, or basically aggregate all the different data points and help a company keep track of, what kind of vulnerabilities might be happening, what kind of outliers might be a red flag for a security vulnerability or malicious actor. They take care of darn near everything these days. It looks like they're ending ARR at 3.86 billion, which is 32% increase year over year. Net new ARR is $218 million, which again, that's a new ARR, that's new annual recurring revenue. More often than not, enterprise subscriptions like CrowdStrike, they usually sell the subscriptions to businesses in 1, 2, and 3 year renewals. So it'll be like a 3-year deal with an annual payment plan. So yeah, when they say ARR is annual recurring revenue, they know that operating margin is 24%. Geez Louise, that's even better than I thought. Of 2 percentage points year over year. Free cash flow, 272 million, increase of 44% year over year. So they are doing pretty darn good, even though, again, they had that record outage, which did cost them some sales, don't get me wrong. But pretty darn good news about CrowdStrike. Again, they're still industry leader. I still suspect to this day, and this is kind of what I tell clients too, if this was an incident in which CrowdStrike was hacked, or if it was a security-related incident, then I think you see a lot more people moving away from CrowdStrike to other enterprise solutions like SentinelOne, and even some people who are going all in with Microsoft, having like Windows Defender, Microsoft Defender, or rather they rebrand it with their terrible marketing cliches these days. But again, because it was an outage, again, still not great, still terrible, still cost billions of dollars. Because it wasn't security related, I think that's the saving grace of why we don't see as many clients moving away from CrowdStrike 2 competition. But let me know in the comments, were you affected by the CrowdStrike outage? Do you use it at your place of employment? Well, don't say your employer's name, of course, but what's your reaction to the product? And do you think they'll continue to have this just really impressive growth rate throughout the next couple of quarters? Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, Dollar General stock crashed more than 30% as sales come to a standstill. And things, I mean, this is a pretty bad economy when the dollar store is doing bad. Now, there are a few industries where they actually thrive in a low economy. Historically, we have the sin stocks. A lot of people actually increase consumption of alcohol and tobacco-related products during the slow times of the economy. And also places like Dollar General, then their really only competitor would be Dollar Tree, which Dollar Tree also owns Family Dollar. So now you kind of have almost like a duopoly in that category of stores, which again is a rough business to be in, especially because the government causes inflation, which again, when you're trying to sell something for $1, that dollar is worth less and less and less thanks to the ineptitudes of the U.S. government. It's gotten to the point where I'm still impressed they make any profit at all these days. Now, one of the first instances to bring this up, and we'll go into the whole article, but really saw this on X Twitter first. This was noted by a tweeter or someone who is on the X Twitter by the name of Disclose and .tv. They say, quote, just in, Dollar General shares dropped 26%, marking the steepest intraday decline in history. The CEO says his core customers are financially constrained. Again, it got even worse. So it actually went more than 30% after that happened. So last week was really rough for Dollar General. They started pretty value, got 1.1 million views. One of the first comments comes from Valentina Gomez saying, quote, fire Kamala, she literally fires everything up, or F's everything up rather. I got 217 likes. Playing of memes, they didn't respond in meme form, but they did say, it's pretty bad when people can't afford stuff from the Dollar General, unquote. They got 398 likes. Actually, it was actually more than 30%. It crashed 32%. Jeez Louise. George Alexandropoulos says, but Don Lemon told me inflation isn't real, getting 675 likes, which, I mean, if you ever feel like you're bad at your job or you don't deserve a job, just remember Don Lemon somehow made a living his whole life in journalism. If he can make money in that profession, anyone can make money anywhere. Like, just put a modicum of effort into whatever you do in life. You're just like, if Don Lemon can make a living, I can. Anyone can. So you also have Florida Man Eats saying, imagine how bad the economy is when even the Dollar General is down in price. We really need Trump back in office, getting 237 likes. Freckled Liberty says, quite, it's bad when people can't afford the dollar store anymore. Now going to the actual article from good old Yahoo Finance, the original OG search engine from back in the day. This specifically is an article written by Inez Ferreri. She's a writer over there. They say, quote, Dollar General stock hangs 32% after outlook cut spurred by cash-strapped customers. Now, actually, let you look at the little infographic while I go over the actual granular details. They say Dollar General said it expects its fiscal 2024 same-store sales growth in a range of approximately 1 to 1.3%. That's cringe, bad growth rate. Compared to the previous expectations of 2 to 2.7%. So they're cutting that in half. Jeez. The CEO Todd Vasajos says, quote, it appears to us very strongly that this lower-end consumer continues to be very much financially strapped, especially as it relates to her ability to feed her families and support her families. Wow. Unquote. Vassos said that last week of each calendar month was the weakest by far, with customers leaning into a mix of 2,000 items still priced at $1 below. Shoppers opted for more consumable goods and less seasonal home and apparel items during the quarter, which that's terrible news for investors and folks who work at Dollar General, because again, if you think about where do companies make the most money, especially when it comes to retail, especially when it comes to grocery stores and these pseudo consumable stores that have more tangible products that are not immediately consumed. Well, yeah, groceries are the worst product on the planet when it comes to profit. And Kroger made less than, 2%. Albertsons made about 1.3% profit margin last quarter, and Kroger is like 2.1%. There's basically no profit in groceries. On average, there are a couple of products where, yeah, they'll be profitable, but on average, it is a tough industry to be in. And that's why places like Dollar General, well, shoot, even Walmart and Target, or if you feel so fancy, you can call it Target, well, they have all these other products that they want you to purchase to increase the actual profitability of the store. That's why they all sell clothing, TVs, jewelry, and all that other random stuff you don't really need. And yeah, the fact that the people shopping at these stores are shifting more to the food, that's even worse for these stores because those items are even less profitable for that. Now, he also said, quote, all this points that would indicate that this is a cash-strapped consumer, even more than we saw in Q1. Easily. Now, they say Dollar Store has been undergoing a quote-unquote back to basics improvement plan held by Vasos, who returned to Dollar General last year. However, Wall Street has become impatient with the dollar store model as retail giants like Walmart increase their market share with consumers across different income ranges. Which, yeah, you're seeing a lot of the, I don't know, call them the slightly higher end consumers. They're actually going to Walmart. Again, Walmart has darn near everything you need in life. Except that it's kind of sad some stores don't sell guns anymore. And as an American, I think it'd be nice to be able to get that there as well. But I partially digress. They have darn near everything you need. And when it comes to the price per unit, that's where it's a much more compelling reason. Dollar General is excellent at having a low price point. It's literally $1. But if you correlate that to actually price per ounce or actually price per unit, that's when it does lose a lot of its value, actually. Now, Dollar General said its quarterly gross profit as a percentage of net sales fell 30%. Wow. Or sorry, fell to 30% compared to 31.1% during the same period last year, in part due to increased markdowns, increased inventory damages, and greater proportion of sales coming from the consumables category and increased shrink, which, yeah, that's a fancy industry term for, what do you call it? Just a products walking off the shelves? Well, it's funny, they don't do that, but, theft. But they say the company posted adjusted earnings per share of $1.70 versus the expectations of $1.79, alongside a revenue of $10.21 billion, below Walmart or Wall Street's expectations of $10.36 billion. Wow. The stock is down 40% this year. Again, none of this is investment advice. I was going to say, when it comes to investment, hindsight's always 20/20. But yeah, I don't know if maybe the Dollar Tree and Family Dollar will be able to pick up the business that's being lost by this company. And maybe they're just all going to be pushing more and more to going to places like Walmart. But yeah, in terms of like outliers in the industry, I didn't see this coming. If anything, I thought these specific businesses would be thriving more than usual this calendar year. But let me know, are you surprised by this? Anecdotally speaking, I usually like to go to, which one? Dollar Tree, usually once a year, to get all the bulk Christmas candy for all my clients and do a little fun Santa Claus thing in December. And it's always a fun experience. And from manufacturing and just a business, I do find it fascinating that they can make toys for under $1 at those stores. Because again, if they sell it for $1, the rule of retail is about 50% profit. Again, that's not net; it's just upfront profit. In terms of if they're selling an item for $1, that means they had to buy it for 50 cents because they have to pay for employees, they have to pay for heating, cooling, the whole infrastructure of the store. That means it had to be manufactured for around 25 cents. That's even, and again, then you have to take into account all the cost of shipping. So I always found just like the engineering of those toys at the dollar stores fascinating that they can do it. And it's gotten to the point where they actually have, if you look at the parent companies, like, well, who owns this toy company? Well, it's gotten to the point where they cut out middleman, they just make it themselves overseas. Because they keep getting those, the dollar's just worth less and less and less every day. They got to do something to, everything they can do moving heaven and earth to keep that price point. And now they actually make a lot of the products themselves as well. So pretty surprised that the company's not doing great. But let me know, are you surprised at its development? Do you think they'll make a comeback Q4 this year? And when was the last time you actually went to a Dollar Tree? Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part of the podcast, you have Colorado apartments being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. And yeah, the illegals are actually trying to be the landlords now. So they're going door to door and just demanding rent. So, yeah, good old Colorado. You kind of get what you vote for. And yeah, it's not turning out too well for him. Now, this is brought to someone by the name of George on the X Twitter, though his actual Twitter name is handle of BZ Tweets, BEHIZY. And he says, quote, breaking, the mayor of Aurora, Colorado just confirmed that Venezuelan illegal migrant gangsters have indeed taken over several apartment complexes and pushed out property managers to extort rents from the tenants directly. He also blamed the Kamala Biden regime and said that they may be involved in importing illegals into the city. Someone put them there and someone funded it, whether it's the federal government or not. The mayor further confirmed that Tren de Arguadas has given orders to his members to start attacking police officers, rather. I want to talk smack. I was about to say I want to talk smack to the game, but yeah, well, I'm a Texan. Try me, but yeah, Tren des Arachas. That's F minus for marketing. I don't know how much branding recognition there is there. Tren de Arguas. It sounds like a rudimentary dish you find in a Spanish restaurant. And I only speak a little Spanish because my family's from Cuba, but nevertheless. But let's hear what they have to say. And this actually brought to us thanks to, well, here. Not able to see that news network though at the moment.
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs.
Not to be that same cliche guy, but if you look at all these Venezuelan illegals, wearing a lot of hoodies, wearing a lot of t-shirts, not a single suit in sight. I think we have the decency to suit up and do the job. But yeah, apparently if you read the article, they actually just came, again, they had a shooting incident where they're shooting at people in cars, and then this is thanks to, not dash cam, the doorbell cameras, and they're actually walking in this apartment complex with guns drawn and going door to door. Which, yeah, there's a very high propensity that would not go well for them if they were to try that in the great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas.
I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these three buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now, or have.
And they're getting orders. They're getting their orders from somewhere. So one of these illegals actually has a cell phone. He's talking to someone. Then around him, he has a gang, and they're going door to door.
It is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
You know, this is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Tren de Aragua, that remains to be seen. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're Venezuelan migrants and they're conducting crime in an organized manner, they're a problem.
So so you're able to confirm that this Venezuelan gang has indeed taken over at least some of the buildings. You're saying at least two of the three. And what I just heard from you is you don't know how they ended up there. And you even made a suggestion that they could have been sent there by federal officials. I heard you suggest. Well, I mean, do you have any reason to believe that to be the case?
So here's the problem. I think we're a victim of a failed policy at the southern border, because what you have, Venezuela does not according to my law enforcement, Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States in sharing criminal histories. You've had a third of the country leave. You've had these massive waves of migrants coming across the border that many of them crossed the border illegally, were arrested, asked for political asylum, were not adequately vetted, were released into the country. The city of Aurora, we did everything we could to quite frankly keep them out of the city, because it's not our problem. This is a federal problem. This is a problem.
Clearly didn't do a very good job at that.
Borne by the federal government. But what we're trying to find out, and what I believe occurred, was that federal agencies worked with some of our local nonprofits and put them there. Now, most of these people are very good people. But there's a criminal element that, from what I understand, what law enforcement is briefing me, that often follows them, intends to exploit them within their own migrant community. And so we believe that is happening now. Now, we're the 51st largest city in America, with over 400,000 in population. This is only several apartment complexes. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm not going to surrender any part of this city to a criminal element.
With all due respect, it's no longer, just in the hands of the feds when you've got. We've heard reports that this gang has green-lighted its members to attack your local police. What are you doing about that, Mayor?
Well, we're aware of that in the Denver metropolitan area, that there are elements of Tren de Aragua here. And so, we're, in terms of how our police operate, the tactics, what they're doing to protect themselves, is our number one priority.
Right? You can tell he's certainly a politician because he said a lot without saying anything. And thankfully, this went pretty well. I got 4.8 million views and 69,000 likes. You have somebody by the name of Marshall Hayner saying maybe evolved in this picture of Biden hanging out at the beach getting 2.4 thousand likes. You have this is a very interesting profile name. FTMFW777 says, where exactly are the police, the SWAT teams, and the National Guard? Is this going to be allowed to continue? What in the living F is going on? Unquote, getting 5.7 thousand likes. George responded saying, quote, the cops are only there to guide migrants to the city, getting 2.6 thousand likes. That's a good question. Why isn't this, well, if you had a president of the United States, you presumably, why wouldn't this mayor just call president of the United States and be like, hey, we need the National Guard here. Stop these, sons of bitches out of existence. Round them up, arrest them, ship them back to, I was about to say Mexico. Well, yeah, that's where they're illegally entering. Why not? Or ship them out to Venezuela. It might be cost prohibitive, so we'll go Mexico. But yeah, no leadership, no accountability. Yep. My picture says coming to every Democrat city and state in the future. It shows a picture of one of those nature signs that says, please do not feed the birds. Feeding creates a dependent population that is potential health hazard and cost and makes a costly mess. In 2.2 thousand likes. Facts over feelings says, quote, citizens are under armed attack by foreigners in American soil. Why the hell aren't we sending the military there to kill them on the spot? Getting 2.3 thousand likes. Well, the United States has been conquered and weak. I mean, let me know if you think differently in the comments. This is embarrassing. Going down more and more. Unsanctimoniously MAGA says, don't worry, citizens of rural Colorado, your governor is here to help. Is this really him?
Feliz Navidad.
Oh.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad.
The dumbest thing I've ever seen. That's the most cringe thing I've ever seen. He's not winning any Hispanic voters with that crap. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I need to send this to my... I might send this to my family. I got 111 likes. A couple more people posting that. Let's see here. The Angry American says, solution, have Tren de Aragua's declared a terrorist organization and allow the U.S. military in conjunction with local law handle the situation. Remember, every gang would go through the U.S. court system. Instead, they are tried by a military tribunal and dealt with accordingly. Got 1,000 likes. Not a bad idea there. Hawk says, if you vote Kamala, you're anti-American. I'm done. Getting 795 likes. Seeking Truth says, where's the FBI with their 5 a.m. armed no-knock raids? Okay, it seems the strategy is not only used on conservatives and not against, or is only used on conservatives and not against real criminals, as long as they fit Democrat narrative. Getting 1,000 likes. And never forget, there's a man who peacefully prayed outside an abortion clinic, and then later you had 6 armed SWAT cars, like Chevy Suburbans with, so is it 30 plus armed guys go to his house and take him at gunpoint from his wife and children. And when the wife said, do you have a warrant? They said it was FBI, and they just said no. They just did what they wanted. That's where the U.S. government spends their time and resource allocation these days. Shows you what they care about. Going down, you got Samantha Byron says, so why aren't they going to call the National Guard or anything? Where is the president? Ask VP what she will do. This is literally invasion by the definition. Call them the effing National Guard. Getting 119 likes. True. But will people in Colorado do anything about it? Right Wave Press says, well, the National Guard should be sent there and take it back Denver, getting 927 likes. Yeah, they should be. Yeah, I keep asking people, we pay all these taxes. What exactly do we get for it? Like the federal government steals 40% of the income, depending on where your state lives. You might get another 10%, 13% of your income stolen for the state income tax. Then you buy something, you have to pay you have to pay sales tax on that. Then you have to pay, property tax, alcohol tax, tobacco tax, gasoline tax, telecom tax, inheritance tax, estate tax, capital gains tax. I mean, I think people would be pretty depressed if they were good at math and realized of that each dollar they earn, how much is it really theirs, and then where does it go? Again, literally cities being taken over, and it's fascinating. This has become a political issue, but it makes sense. You have sanctuary cities, and I don't know what the citizens are going to do. Hopefully they write to their politicians and do something. But yeah, it looks like yet another city has fallen. And let me know in the comments, do you think, let's see here, Just a couple more memes there. Yeah, let me know. Do you think ever actually take their city back? What do you think will happen with these other sanctuary cities? You think this will be like a domino effect? Will that happen more and more? Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have a teacher that is quote unquote horrified because a school sex ed program says that there's only 2 sexes. Interesting. This apparently is a teacher from North Carolina who is, well, I guess from the party of science, she doesn't realize how babies are made. Now, this comes to us thanks to good old Libs at TikTok and X Twitter. And she says, quote, meet Amy Dahl. She's running for Moore County Board of Education in North Carolina. She's horrified that the sex ed curriculum teaches students that there are only 2 sexes and says it's an abuse of power to teach students that. This election is November. Parents, vote wisely. Yep. Fascinatingly enough, she does. I'm sorry. If you're watching on the good old, well, the best stream platform, Rumble, or unfortunately YouTube, and you actually have a visual effect, you could see her, and surprisingly, she does not have pink or blue hair, though it is still horrifying, though almost in time for Halloween. Now, this looks like there's a little video for her as well. Actually, for a New York Minute, I thought that was Ozzy Osbourne in a dress. Might do. Is there a community note? There might be a fact check. It might be. Well, let's hear what it has to say.
This board is not data-driven, although you should be. Now let me tell you about being a scientist and a science educator.
Oh, shine.
We scientists care a lot that our findings are truly and faithfully represented to the public. We science educators care a lot about science literacy, which is founded on accurate and truthful representations of science. I was horrified to hear Mr. Levy say that you wrote a curriculum on sex ed that included reference to, quote, scientific fact on the existence of 2 sexes. That is false. It is not scientific fact. As anyone can easily verify, you don't have to be a scientist. Go on the internet and find a respected authority. Everybody's heard of the Mayo Clinic, right? Here's what they say. A disruption of the developmental steps that determine sex can result in a mismatch between the appearance of the external genitals and the internal sex organs and or the genetic sex and or the relevant brain development. Do I need to explain that to you? It means there are any number of known biological pathways that cause a mismatch between a person's mental makeup and either their anatomy or their genes, or both. Biological. Science says the exact opposite of what you claim, but you have mandated teaching these falsehoods to children along with claims that it is science. You are not qualified to write curriculum, but more importantly, this is an abuse of power and an abrogation of responsibility. I urge you to employ a qualified educator to revise that curriculum immediately.
Guess he gave her a buzzing warning, or that was just a warning of insanity. But yeah, somehow, yeah, I guess she just thinks if you say the word science enough, it'll sound smart. But yeah. Again, if you're in North Carolina and that's in your county, make sure you vote appropriately. Also known as, yeah, make sure you do not vote for her. And if she's running unopposed, heaven forbid, go out there and primary her, go out there and oppose her, start your own campaign. Because again, these people want to be in front of your kids. That's horrifying. It didn't go as viral as I thought. It got about a little under 200,000 views, 5.6 thousand likes. Although this is reason number, what is this? I think it's now up to 10,958,735,442 reason to homeschool your kids. Because this is the type of thing that they want to change. And in some schools, they're already doing this. And some schools, allegedly, they still teach things like history, science, though they do have a 32-year low ACT scores. Great job, teachers unions. You're doing phenomenal work. Definitely deserve that raise you keep wanting. And yeah, they're also teaching more ideologically things. Yeah, there's many reasons to homeschool your kids. One of the first comments comes from American Papa Bear, says, I thought liberals followed the science, getting 116 likes. Red Wave Press says, I'm horrified she doesn't understand basic biology, getting 239 likes. There's a TikTok respondent saying, and she's a scientist, getting 162 likes. Yeah, I don't know about that. She's a scientist. I would love to see her, like, what scientific papers, what work has she done, if any? If Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, these, let's pop up there. These people shouldn't be allowed around our schools. They're sick in the head, getting 330 likes. Paul Zupa says, parents should be horrified that Amy Dahl doesn't know basic biology, getting 60 likes. Playing on memes. So they responded in text form, no meme. A little disappointed there. Says, so it's an abuse of power to teach real science. Got it, getting 48 likes. There. Any contrarian statements? No. Sam Smirtha says she needs to be instituted in a psychiatric ward. She needs to stay away from all kids, getting 7 likes. Cyber Hunter says, is it really education if the curriculum is more about identity politics than intellectual growth, getting 5 likes? Good point. Audi Sauce says, why do liberals all look like this, getting 8 likes. Fact check false, there are a lot with blue and purple hair. She just looks like the girl from The Ring a little bit. She ate too much. Let's see. No contrarian statements. Not too. I will do more. Oh yeah. Again, go out and vote. Make your opinion be heard. And I was just say, I didn't think I'd see this in North Carolina. I mean, this would probably be, regular. I mean, this would probably just be a regular Tuesday in San Francisco over there, but no, interesting enough, it's happening in North. If you're from North Carolina, is this a common thing? Is this something you think will become more widespread? Let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Kamala saying she wants to regulate speech and remove social media profiles that she doesn't like. I'm not sure what reason this is. Perhaps 12,958,735,421 to not vote for her. Because again, anyone who doesn't believe in the First Amendment is no friend to Americans or freedom. And again, I'm glad she's saying this out loud. So I hope every single registered voter hears this message and hears her little compilation. Because again, free speech is paramount to a society. I mean, I always tell people, if you're signing someone who's just mentally, maybe emotionally, mentally stunted, or they're just not, and they just need to, I don't know, grow a little bit. They can't have a coherent conversation with someone of an opposing viewpoint. They just 100% emotion, 0 logic. They're just mentally a child, even if they are, whatever their age says on their driver's license. But without too much further ado, let's hear what she has to say about this. It comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on the good old X Twitter. He says, quote, President Kamala Harris would regulate speech, censor social media, and remove accounts and content she doesn't like. Listen if you don't believe me. And a little long, it's about 2 minutes, but I think, again, this is paramount. So I think it's worth noting.
All of these social...
So this is a couple quick compilations. It's like it's from the 2020 race.
All of these social media companies and these online...
This was when she was a Democrat candidate. Remember, she didn't even win California.
All of these social media companies and these online platforms, which are so powerful in their ability to impact perception about an issue and to influence behaviors. Let's be clear about that. There have to be standards, and he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that shooter in his manifesto was informed by how Donald Trump uses that platform. And this is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you can respond.
So, look, I don't just want to push Donald Trump off Twitter. I want to push him out of the White House. That's our job.
Join me in saying that his Twitter account should be shut down.
No, let's figure out.
No?
Well, she's left of Elizabeth Warren. A friendly reminder of how much of a leftist Kamala Harris is. And again, Elizabeth Warren she's by no means conservative, but even she realizes you shouldn't just mute someone. You shouldn't just take them out of the whole cultural lexicon. You shouldn't just be able to remove all their ideals from society.
Why it is that
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is...
Well, they're separate businesses, so yeah, they have their own terms and conditions.
That there has to be a responsibility.
Again, when it comes to the legal precedent of the government regulating free speech and trying to regulate speech, the only thing you basically can't do is if you give an articulate threat. So if you say, and again, I'm no legal scholar by any means, though I do own a suit, but basically if you say, I'm going to hurt this person at this time, specifically, if it's a specific threat, that's not protected. But anything else, yeah. It can be viscerally disgusting. It can be hate speech. It can be whatever you want. But again, it's protected.
That is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop. Donald Trump has 65 million followers on Twitter, and we have to take seriously the weaponization of this platform by the president and the need, therefore, of a private corporation to be held accountable to say he has abused the terms, and it could result literally in a threat to safety of human beings who are participating with the process of justice.
There is not a part of you civically, constitutionally, that is concerned about the precedent of a private company taking the platform away from the President of the United States or some other elected official?
Free speech does not condone or protect threats to the safety of other human beings. And so that is
which he's never done.
What we are talking about. Like, let's be really clear about what we're talking about.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
That, I hope, goes even more viral. Because, again, there absolutely is. It's called the First Amendment. I know, shoot, this applies to Republicans, too. I know a lot of people in D.C. don't read anything by the Founding Fathers or even the Bill of Rights. They should. It's almost, I was about to say, it's one of the most, yeah, it's the most important document ever written by mankind. I mean, and yet they go, oh yeah, there's no guarantee of hate speech. There absolutely is. It's disgusting, but again, unpopular speech is the one that needs to be protected because, again, just saying the sky is blue isn't controversial. No, it doesn't need to be protected. So, interestingly enough, a great litmus test with your friends, I call it the Alex Jones litmus test, one of my favorite ones. Just ask him, do you think Alex Jones deserves free speech? Does he deserve to have a platform? And I'll tell you everything you need to know about that person. Again, Alex Jones says some crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, he's an American citizen. He's human. He deserves the right to free speech. That's my 3 cents. So again, if you ever want to, like, you know, definitely show this to all your friends. Tell them, hey, I mean, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz doesn't seem like they're too good about the First Amendment. They want to regulate everything. Just to show them this more and more. And then ask them, like, do you think everyone deserves free speech? Now, this went pretty well. I got 400,000 views, about 5.1 thousand likes. One of the first comments comes from End Wokeness, who says, quote, or his quote within a quote. So he quotes Kamala saying, they are so powerful in their ability to influence perception of behavior, unquote. Then End Wokeness says, this is how communist dictators talk, gained 1.2 thousand likes. America Papa Bear says she's full of Marxist. Who wants this? Gained 21 likes. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the left. A lot of leftists. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, Kamala Harris hates the First and Second Amendments, gained 228 likes. Fact check, true. She wants to confiscate guns that are very popular. Though I should clarify, of course, it's always confiscating them from law-abiding citizens, not the illegal Venezuelans who break in here, or the U.S. government. And if you ever read history book, if you're public school taught, unfortunately, you might not have had that opportunity. But yeah, every time the governments take guns throughout history, the worst things ever always happen. You'll be told the worst things in history always because always the results of governments. Oshwin simply says, Counting Kamala gained 212 likes. By Hodel says, Kamala is a fascist POS. She literally campaigned to get the sitting presidency banned from social media. If she did to him, what chance do we have? Bye-bye First Amendment if she wins. Gained 108 likes, which, again, if I were Trump, I would say this every single day because it's one of the most well-thought-out, articulate things Trump has ever spoken when it comes to like a campaign strategy. He says, oh, I will dare attempt his impression. It'll be terrible. We've been warned, but remember, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. And perhaps the worst Trump impression you've heard all year, but perhaps it's so bad you at least made you smile. Because again, that's one of the most true things he's ever said. They will come for you. They will come for you. You've seen it already with them banning people on social media, especially before Elon took over. You look at the rates and who they went after, and now we find, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg admitting it on that Facebook platform, he confirmed that the government bullied them to censor Americans, which is illegal. And yeah, I'm sure no one in the government will be held accountable for that. Now you have Junita Broderick saying, quote, without a doubt, she wants to shut down X, getting 391 likes. Not too many contrarian statements here. You have a picture compilation by Trump.ai. And so you hope and change type of style picture, but it has Kamala on it. It says, inflation, invasion, incompetence, corruption, censorship, war. I got 24 likes. Here. Yeah, not too many contrarian statements. But yeah, quite horrifying that they want to destroy the First Amendment. And yeah, I mean, thank God the Supreme Court would rule in favor of the First Amendment, but whether they stack the Supreme Court or get rid of it somehow, it is quite concerning. And again, in terms of the upcoming election, I don't think it should be a bipartisan thing. I think every American deserves free speech, even if I don't agree with what they have to say. And just ask every one of your friends, especially if they're thinking of voting for Kamala, just be like, I mean, aren't you concerned she might censor you someday? Historically speaking, that's always happened. But let me know in the comments. Do you think this will move the political needle one way or the other? As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Brazil government wanting to censor X and Elon saying no to their dictator. Now, one of the first tweets comes from Global Government Affairs, directly from the X Twitter profile, in which they say quite articulately, although it's a little bit long, they say, quote, "Soon we expect Judge Alexandre de Moraes will order X to be shut down in Brazil simply because we would not comply with his illegal orders to censor his political opponents. These enemies include a duly elected senator and a 16-year-old girl, among others. When we attempted to defend ourselves in court, Judge de Moraes threatened our Brazilian legal representation with imprisonment. Even after she resigned, he froze all her bank accounts. Our challenges against his manifestly illegal actions were either dismissed or ignored. Judge de Moraes' colleagues on the Supreme Court are either unwilling or unable to stand up to him. We are absolutely not insisting that other countries have the same free speech laws as the United States. They should, but that's me. The fundamental issue at stake here is that Judge de Moraes demands we break Brazil's own laws. We simply won't do that. In the days to come, we will publish all Judge de Moraes' illegal demands and all related court filings in interest and transparency. Unlike other social media and technology platforms, we will not comply in secret with illegal orders. To our users in Brazil and around the world, X remains committed to protect your freedom of speech," unquote. And thankfully, it went pretty well. I got 46.3 million views and 100,000. Could I be the one to make it 100,001? No, I wasn't, but I did like it nevertheless. 100,000 likes, which, yeah, it's quite horrifying how many companies will shake hands with the governments behind closed doors to sell out American freedoms, American rights, in this case, just human rights. But yeah, this person literally wants them to censor his political opponents and his opposition. Can't help but be concerned. It sounds like something that would happen. Oh, is it Brazil or the U.S.? I only partially jest. Now, go to the comment section. One of the first ones comes from Camarada Gringo saying, all you had to do is legal representation in Brazil to represent your business. That's the law in Brazil. Getting 1.13,000 likes. Oh, we got some interesting contrarian statements off the bat. Lucas Poliano says X is not above Brazilian rules. Your company should respect our rule of law. Getting 17,000 likes. How mentally vacuous are you to actually cheer for censorship? That's pretty concerning. Mike Ben says this is the greatest platform of all time, getting 3.7 thousand likes. Zampa says stay strong kings, about 2,000 likes. Marjorie Taylor Greene press release parody account says America stands with Brazil. It's Brazil today, but America tomorrow. Keep fighting, unquote. Getting 9.9 thousand likes. So a couple contrarian statements off the bat, but we're slowly but surely getting more and more freedom lovers here. See here. Aki Samo says we love you, and it says see you Space Cowboy. Getting 2.8 thousand likes. Let's see here. The Doppelganger saying I stand with Elon and Brazil, protect free speech at all costs, getting 329 likes. Carlos R. Del Leo says Brazil says goodbye. It's a caricature of the judge or that kicking Elon out. Elon does have a X handbag and it's labeled fake news. Getting 19,000 likes. Have they co-opted Trump's iconic phrase? Fake news. Here. Yeah. Gail Alfair saying X is not like other social media platforms. They are fine to comply in secret with legal orders. Support X by subscribing. Oh, they say that are fine. So I'm like, okay. I got 165 likes. And yeah, agree. The one social media I actually pay for hashtag the Topping Show and my personal profile at Nick Topping, NRC, is X.com. So I get, not to brag, but I did have $7 to spend on the monthly subscription, or I think you bought in the bulk. They have that cool blue little checkmark thingamajig, and slightly less advertisements. Going down more and more, you have Anna Lulu saying fight for free speech, getting 459 likes. Project Veritas says we need a Brazilian investigation unit, getting 504 likes. Jakey says, insane, this guy thinks he can take on Elon Musk. He must be a villain syndrome, getting 398 likes. And that does kind of lean into the villain that he looks like. So we'll actually go to Elon Musk's profile right here. Elon responded saying Alexandre de Moraes is an evil dictator cosplaying as a judge. They got 38.3 million views and 179,000 likes. Now, here you actually see Oil London reposted a picture of that judge. He looks strikingly similar to... I mean, he looks just like Lord Voldemort from Lord of the Rings. Kidding. I know it's the Star Trek movie. Kidding again. I know it's the Harry Potter. Now, again, I'm not sure if this is... And this wasn't at Halloween, apparently. He's dressed up like a perverted pilgrim. He's got that weird buckle that the pilgrims had way back in the day. And a big black cape. Like, he looks like an evil caricature from like a cheesy 90s cartoon. I mean, he just... It's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. I got 967 likes. So to this, Gunther Eagleman says, quote, he's a tyrant, getting 501 likes. Trump Army says Elon is on a mission to keep free speech. This picture of Elon, and it's a quote from Elon saying $44 billion was not the cost of Twitter, it was the cost of restoring free speech. Getting 860 likes, which, I mean, this will be one of Elon's greatest achievements in life, I think. I mean, not only just, starting an electric car company that was profitable, which was unheard of, but he also, I mean, a lot of people would argue Save Free Speech is the most free platform. It's by no means perfect, that being the extra platform, but yeah, I think this will be one of his greatest accomplishments. Let's see here. What is this? Chuck Cagliostro says, coming to America if Kamala assumes office. Fight like Trump is 10 points down. Spirit of Trump after year's shot says, fight getting 674 likes. May says, a demon cosplaying as a human getting 417 likes. Lee Lieberdod says, Elon Musk saved Brazil getting 606 likes. Junia Broderick says, he is the very reason the team A-hold was called, the term A-hold was coined, getting 544 likes. See, hey, we do have some more contrarian statements. Warfare Analysis says you should comply with Brazil as you did with Israel and the U.S. Either comply with all or none, getting 137 likes. Did someone respond with evidence? Harris says, F you, Elon, you're a Fed. Getting 4 likes, which, of all the people that I think are associated with the Feds, like, I don't think Elon is in that way. Let's see here. Any other contrarian statements? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the day. I know it looks like they're starting to tell employees to leave. And Jcash, okay, last one. Jcash Maga Queen says him? Yes. It's another picture of that judge who looks like an evil Bond villain. Complete with a black cape. Now he did suit up as all men should, but yeah, it looks like Lord Voldemort in a suit wearing a black cape. That got only got 35 likes. I'll get more than that. Yeah, let me know. Do you think X will actually abandon Brazil? Do you think they'll just completely make it so the app doesn't work in that area, even voluntarily, or the government will make them? Let me know what you think the future is for Brazil and free speech. Let me know in the comments, especially if you're from Brazil, what your perspective is. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Kamala CNN, quote-unquote, interview highlights, and they go pretty viral. And it was so bad, CNN removed 23 minutes of the interview. She also had her companion, Tim Walz, there. Bizarre. And she even fumbled questions and flip-flopped. I'm not sure if she worked at a department store. I'm sure she got a discount on knee pads throughout her career. But she just flip-flops left and right. And again, this is CNN. Of all the layups in the world, of all the softballs you can get, this should have been like Mark McGuire playing t-ball with someone tossing him a ball. You're going on CNN in a controlled environment. You know they gave her the questions ahead of time. And he still crashed and burned. Which is saying how inept someone is. If they have the questions, it's almost unfair. Like, everyone knew she wouldn't take interviews for a reason. And yet she did worse than people thought. Which is saying something. Now, one of the first clips I noticed came from Charlie Kirk, which he says, quote, watch Dana ask Kamala the question we've all been wondering. And it's about minute 25, and it's funny, it says CNN Live, but it wasn't. And they waited, what was it, like over a month for the first interview?
My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers. So they
communism. Literally giving a great way to jack up housing prices. We're just going to give them $25,000. What? Yeah. Just go Brave search or Google search the 2008 recession. How exactly did that start? Oh, yeah, I have a good intention. Everyone deserves a house. That's good intention. Yep, poorly executed, failed miserably, destroyed the economy. Yeah. Never forget one of the best, well, one of the most historic quotes, however, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
They can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
It's almost like Office Space. What would you say you do around here? It's a good question, because we all know, I mean, people even on the left, I mean, pretty not controversial these days. Everyone's kind of in agreement Biden's eventually declined rapidly throughout the past couple of years. That's the question, who is really calling the shots these past couple of years?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought...
It's so bad that the dollar store stock crashed 30+%. People can't even afford the dollar store. Or the Dollar General. Dollar Store is a separate main competitor of that. Again, tell me one person who honestly believes the economy's good right now. And they're not just shilling.
Inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors.
More lies. So the inflation, again, the best example I can give in terms of correlating to something that's very easy for anyone to understand, just ask someone if you weighed 100 pounds and you gained 30 pounds one week, you gained 20 pounds next week, you gained 15 pounds next week, then you gained another 10 pounds, then you gained another 5 pounds. Are you losing weight? Is it your situation improving in life? No, the rate at which you're gaining weight is decreasing, but your life still is rough and getting worse by the moment. And then when it comes to the insulin thing, I mean, that's been debunked way before. Because again, Trump had the policy. He had the policy. All Biden had to do was sit back and hang out at the beach, and the economy would have been great. They had to pass all that junk like the Inflation Reduction Act that makes alive all the time. Perhaps second only to the Patriot Act. But yeah, the insulin thing, Trump literally started that. Biden specifically stopped it just so he could restart it and claim credit for it. Give me a break.
Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited.
So fact check. There are a lot of images of Tim Walz wearing a emotional support dog, lackey little harness. In the interview that we're saying, he does not actually have that harness on him at this time, nor does he have a little card on him that says emotional support on him. So you have to debunk that. That was going viral on the Twitter.
I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000.
Pretty well, I got 4.4 million views and 46. Let's make it 47. Oh, okay. Still like it, but wasn't the additional like needed to get to 47,000 likes? One of the first, let's see here. One of the first comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, Kamala didn't answer a question. She just pivoted to prescription drug costs, which Biden-Harris soon rose after entertaining office. Only later did they bring them down to what Trump had them at. She doesn't get credit for that. Getting 2.4 thousand likes. Yep. Yeah, she's very much a politician. She dodged that question. I will not comply, says, quote, wait, a tax credit, that's not the same thing as supplying $25,000 for down payment assistance. This is missing context for people who might vote for this thinking it's going to get assistance for them to go to get tax credits post the purchase of a home, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Let's see here. Let's see. Charleston White House Muse says, quote, can't believe no one noticed she was reading statement. She was reading statement and flipped through pages.
Palestinians have been killed. It matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
You're right.
And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end, and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families.
Remember when we did a president office where there's no new wars for the first time in our life? Yeah, that's pretty nice. Got 3.1 thousand likes for that comment. Logan's Run says, wait a moment. Since when is inflation under 3%? Yeah, good question. Got 3.9 thousand likes. S says Trump capped insulin at $35 for seniors, just saying they lie about everything. 6.9 thousand likes. Mike Sarsaparilla says I've never seen a more incompetent human, gain 3.1 thousand likes. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good infographic. Z Ghost said less than 3%. Yep, that's true. And it says if you need a reason to unfriend me, go ahead. So I'm going to remind you all every single day until November 5th. It says gasoline up 46.6%. Fuel oil up 59.1%. Natural gas up 28.1%. Used automotive vehicles up 26.4%. Beef up 20.1%. Pork up 14.1%. Bacon up 15.4%. Chicken up 8.8%. Eggs up 11.6%. Milk up 4.3%. Apples up 6.7%. Coffee up 40.7%. Baby food increased 7.9%. Electricity up 6.5%. And so picture juxtaposed with a picture of Kamala saying, I did that, getting 877 likes, which it is fascinating. I try to join the Facebook groups for like Trump as well as Biden as well as Kamala to see the different perspectives out there. And there are people who are not inebriated. I don't think they're drinking Bud Light or anything, but they authentically think that the grocery store prices aren't that bad. Which, again, I just got some, like, I splurged. I got some, what was it, the Honeycrisp apples a couple weeks ago. Got a couple of those in my grocery cart. And it was ridiculous. It's like, what was it, $7-8? It was rough. It blows my mind. There are people who don't think prices are that bad. Again, groceries are about a 2% industry profit margin. So it's not like the stores are making, they're not buying Cadillacs because they're selling apples. Let's see here. Dolly says Trump capped insulin, Biden stopped it. She has no power. She has no answer in all word salad, getting 882 likes. Let's go to the second clip. Maybe she surprises us with her eloquence and brilliance. I mean, probably no, she doesn't, but it's still entertaining. This comes to us thanks to Steve Cortez, who says, CNN, what would you do day one in White House? Kamala, incoherent answer. CNN, so what would you do day one? Which again, day one was, what was it, 3.5 years ago? But let's hear what I was about to say, what she tries to say.
Way here in Georgia.
And, I don't know, pretty sure I might have to go to websterdictionary.com. Like, I don't know, Tim Walz just looks so awkward there. And I don't have much ground to stand on in terms of social awkwardness, but he's literally just standing. I think he speaks once or twice, maybe. We won't see, no spoilers. But yeah, he's just sitting there. Why was he there? But nevertheless.
Yeah. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambition.
What about securing the border so we don't have Venezuelans taking over apartment complexes like a third world country? What about fixing inflation? What about getting rid of some regulations so costs of the businesses can thrive? They'll keep. Name one thing you're going to do here. Maybe she surprises us with some excellent bullet points.
Of the American people. I think that people are ready for a new way forward. In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I guess he tried to say something, but realistically, he would probably say absolutely nothing of substance. Got 1,100,000 views and 2.2 thousand likes. One of the first ones comes from Eli saying this isn't a day one answer, it's gibberish, getting 106 likes. Sebastian Kaminski says her voice is clearly shaking, she's lying, and that's why, getting 48 likes. Yeah, Lord only knows what she would do if that happens. Marty says she is unable to speak coherently or make eye contact, blabbering blabberpuss. Getting 70 likes, new term. Texan in Seattle, no. That poor son of a gun. He's in Seattle? Why would he go to Seattle? This is the antithesis of Texas. I mean, they tried to get rid of like 30-round magazines a couple months ago. Poor guy. Nevertheless, he says definitely not live. The amount of editing that must have done to go from nuclear disaster to train wreck boggles the mind. Getting 74 likes. I would love to have seen an uncut, live version. They still haven't released the transcripts either. I don't think they will either. Good old Kamala. We'll do another one. And this is hilariously... Now, this clip actually comes to us from Kamala HQ on X Twitter. So, I mean, this is supposed to be a whole organization, a whole group, or a whole profile on X Twitter. It's all about, talking about how great Kamala is. Yeah. So, question is, actually, no, I'll just go ahead and I'll play that. It's about 34 seconds long.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Even CNN's trying to get a real answer out of her. Just saying something. Jeez. It's almost like Stephen King. Look at that. Ooh, jeez, that's horrifying. And again, if you look at her political career, she's like the definition of chameleon. She was bragging early in her career about being one of the first Indian senators. I mean, she changes based on her audience. Just like when she went to, Georgia a couple weeks ago? Completely did a new fake accent. Or I should clarify, an accent as authentic as her personality. Now, this went pretty well. Got 2 million views and 20,000 likes. The first one is coming from Franklin. So we do have a contrarian statement right off the bat saying, quote, not sure why Bash asked Harris this question. Trump can just get away with saying the most vile stuff. The media will try to force Kamala to answer to it. That did get 672 likes. See here. Responded to it was Suga B saying, because CNN is irrevocably on the Trump train for views and the clicks, getting 21 likes. They're trying to say that CNN likes Trump. Now that is comical. Here. Democrats are literate liars. That is a very specific profile name. It probably has a little bit of bias in there. Saying Democrats are pure filth, getting 2 likes. Brendietta Morrow says, and they wonder why she didn't immediately sit down for an interview. Getting 19 likes. A couple contrarian statements. Jay says, so is she black, Indian, or confused? She couldn't answer that, getting 32 likes. Paul Zupa saying about, I'm actually, of all things to be concerned about, I'd be more concerned about her father in terms of his teaching. He was a Marxist. So again, I'm more worried about the ideologies of her heritage. Now, you also have Venkat saying, deflecting hate with grace and focus. Well said, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Rich Mooney says Trump was right to the point. Weird identity politics that obsesses with the left, getting 53 likes. You have, here, Martin Bardoff says, well done, don't even dignify the question. Getting 708 likes. Looks like this might be her most successful thing ever. See here. Any contrary? Actually, that's the most popular sentiment. Let's see. 595 likes from Urban Myths Legend saying this has to be the stupidest, most offensive question of all history of the stupid and offensive questions. I don't know. That's a long list. I don't know if this is the most one. But I'm pretty valid. This actually seemed to work in Kamala's favor. All these, a majority of these comments are all in her favor. Interesting. You have one person by the name of Real Vinny John saying she avoided the question. She needs to answer why she plays that card. She needs to be called on the carpet for all the black lives she ruins. I'm so sick of this Soviet-style propaganda and nonsense. She's not president material. Getting 50 likes. See here. S. Eccles, PhD, says this entire interview was only 18 minutes and CNN refuses to release the full transcript. Never mind being pre-recorded. What are they hiding in the shell getting 66 likes? Yeah, good question. What are they? I do have one more clip of the Kamala. This comes straight from the Kamala headquarters. Same profile. So this should also, maybe it will be mostly positive responses. Might be mentally vacuous, but says, quote, President pray. Oh no, we'll just go ahead and we gotta love when the commentary before the video is just the same transcript. Not much added value there, but nevertheless.
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Well, I'm sorry, what have you been doing? Oh, man, what have you been doing with the border for the past 3.5 years, Ms. Border Czar? Of all the jobs that Biden assigned to you, that was one of the few. You're supposedly fixing that? Right, the antithesis, the opposite. There have been more illegal crossing the United States in the past 40 months than pretty much any other time in history.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe.
Did it reduce inflation? No, it caused more inflation.
Around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. In 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus, and it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And Winfrey, well, I got it's about 250,000 views and 8.3 thousand likes. One of the first comments comes from Jay saying she changed on the border wall, changed on immigration, changed on climate change, changed on taxes, changed on almost anything, getting 9 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, Kamala has no values. She slept with a married man twice her age to springboard her career. The last 3.5 years, she's wrecked the U.S. border and economy. She's completely incompetent and has no business in serving the public office. Getting 45 likes. We also have America Papa Bear saying she's always been a Marxist. Now she's failing in an election. She's a fraud, getting 28 likes. They have Aaron Black, who says, quote, it's time for a leader who inspires us to change to be our best selves. Kamala Harris embodies hope, optimism, and joy. Let's reject the darkness and choose a brighter future. Mentally vacuous lies, but it did get 106 likes and 23 comments, with one of the first ones being, let's see here. Garrett Valdez says, let's bring the joy to the breadline, getting 2, let's make it 3 likes. DB says, I could give a shit about hope and optimism and joy. I want someone who's going to put more money in my wallet. She's not going to do either of those. Unless you're just going to take more money out of your wallet. KPEH says she's a communist. She'll rule the United States. You didn't vote for her in 2020 and you didn't vote for her in 2024. How could you want that? So, ratio by number of comments, but not by number of likes. One bad dude says she sure flip-flops all the time. It's called lies, getting 44 likes. Rocco Nation says, now stop lies, choose wisely America. And picture of Trump with the sign says, I gave everything up for these people. And Kamala has a sign says, I throw innocent people in prison to hold it into power. Getting 28 likes. Let's see here. Somebody, Robbie says we need to give her a supermajority in both chambers. She will bring bipartisan border bill and it will pass. She will close the border. That's not supposed to be a comedy or a comedic comment. It got 36 likes. How mentally vacuous this person is. Yeah. They literally, the one border bill that they brag about, that Republicans, I'll give credit for Republicans doing something right. They didn't sign it. A majority of that bill was literally going to give money to the Ukraine, corrupt government, and then it was going to be for border processing in the U.S. southern border, not border security. So just allow us to process more people to come in here illegally. Kamala Harris HQ lies, good profile name, says, quote, her values have changed, her values have changed and continue to change, probably due to the abysmal states going from her administration. Getting 569 likes. Edison Barb says values should never change. Policies and stances are always open to change, but values should never be. And quote, getting 54 likes and correct. Christy Lade says you allowed all manner of criminals across our border and nearly lost nearly 300,000 children. Criminal gangs from other countries are taking over apartment buildings. You had one job, fail. Getting 29 likes. Burt Macklin says she completely avoided the question that was being asked, haha, getting 61 likes. True. So, yeah, apparently it's starting to hurt her in the polls more and more. And I'm not too surprised. Because, again, it's one of the worst interviews. It's almost impressive how much of a failure it was. But apparently she probably had the questions ahead of time. It was not live. So it was pre-recorded, heavily edited, and a majority of it was edited out, so we never see it. Same with the transcript is covered up. And yet, what we were allowed to see is still comically bad. Which is why I suspect she wasn't allowed, or she didn't talk to the press for months and weeks. And yeah, this if there's a debate with Trump, it is going to be, as Trump might say, legendary. It'll be great, the greatest debate of all time. Probably to say something to that effect. And let me know, do you think anyone is, again, there was a couple comments in here who were impressed by her recent interview with the CNN, but overall, just viscerally roasting her. Let me know in the comments if you think at the end of the day it actually helped her more than it hurt her. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Lululemon slashing their guidance after a failed product launch. Now, this comes to us thanks to Gabriel Rogue, who's a writer over at CNBC, in which they say, quote, Lululemon cuts guidance, missing sales estimates after a botched product launch. Now, they say, quote, the company, best known for yoga pants and belt bags, has been struggling through this to stock the right assortment and recently pulled its new breeze-through leggings from the shelves. The apparel retailer beat earnings and made progress in growing its gross margin and operating income, but still continues to struggle. They say the company now expects a full-year net revenue between $10.38 billion and $10.48 billion, down from the previous range of $10.7 billion and $10.8 billion. Lululemon anticipates earnings per share be a range of $13.95 to $14.15 per share, down from the previous guidance of $14.27, $14.47. They say sales rose 7% to $2.37 billion. However, not quite in expectations of what they were hoping for. Now, when it comes to the new product they were trying to launch, the Breeze Through, CEO Calvin McDavid said, that, quote, it was an opportunity for them to test and learn. While guests were excited about the fabric and the design didn't quite meet their expectations, listening to our guests is central to who we are and how we grow our brand. We took the right step of pausing the sales and looking forward to reintroducing the fabric in the future. This decision had a negligible impact on the performance of the quarter, unquote. They also note that the botched launch came after the company struggled with other self-inflicted issues of assortment, including not having the right colors and sizes of its core customers desired. Sales in Americas only grew about 1%, which is their largest region. Which, again, at least they're cutting their losses in terms of actually shelving the product. So, they're not going to be losing too much money on, just having it take up space. But again, launching a new product where, again, I'm not sure what kind of customer reviews or what kind of test groups they had. But yeah, Lululemon having, again, you're supposed to be exceedingly, very profitable, historically successful company, but yeah, having an issue where one of your products is supposed to be really big and just fails utterly. Gotta say, Lululemon, that's certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.